After a first-round victory against the Minnesota Wild, it's on to the second round for the St. Louis Blues as they meet the Nashville Predators for the first time in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The series begins Wednesday here at Scott Trade. Hi again, everyone. I'm John Kelly, of course, alongside Chris Kerber. Later in our preview, we'll talk to Vladimir Tarasenko and also Blues winger Jaden Schwartz. But Chris Kerber, what a big victory for the Blues in the opening round. They beat Minnesota in 5 games. It wasn't easy, but it was certainly sweet for St. Louis.
Well, statistically, because the Blues were the number 3 seed, we'll call it the upset. And as the Blues upset the Minnesota Wild. But I'll tell you what, the Blues are playing fantastic hockey down the stretch. They continued it right into the playoffs, John. They got great goaltending from Jake Allen. We'll touch on the goalies here in just a minute. But it was an all-around team effort, too. Defensively, they were just as stingy as they were for the last 2 months of the season, and that made a huge difference.
Of course, the Blues beat the Wild in 5 games. Nashville, very impressive, as they upset the number 1 seed Blackhawks in a sweep. And as you said, as you go into this second-round series, to me, what stands out is both goaltenders, Jake Allen and Pekka Rinne.
Well, this all of a sudden becomes a series, John, of the 2 hottest goaltenders in round 1. Pekka Rinne allowed just 3 goals to the Blackhawks in a 4-game sweep of the number 1 team in the Western Conference. Jake Allen allowed just the 8 goals to the Minnesota Wild, who had scored a record number of goals in the regular season. So Pekka Rinne comes into this series with a save percentage of .975 and a goals against average of 0.7. Jake Allen is coming into the series with a goals against average of 1.4 and a save percentage just over .950. I mean, these 2 goaltenders got it done in the first round.
No question about it. Well, Vladimir Tarasenko scored a big goal in Game 5 as the Blues knocked off the Wild. Speaking of Tarasenko, he's downstairs with our Darren Pang.
JK and Kerbs, thanks very much. And with Vladdy Tarasenko here, and Vladdy, must be nice to eliminate Minnesota in a very, very difficult series, but wanting to move ahead as quickly as possible so you get the rest for the next series. Is that what your guys' mindset was in that locker room, I'm sure?
Yeah, actually our mindset was win it in 4 games, and we can make it in St. Louis, but it's something new to me because we've never been in this situation. We have a lot of days off right now and a lot of rest, and nice to feel, when you can feel when people's not really believing in your team, when you play against one of the top teams in the year, and then nice to get this win.
So you're talking about the inner confidence as well, not just inside the locker room, but everybody around knowing that the Blues is a very good team to be able to beat a team like Minnesota.
Yeah, I can tell this is a pressure like last year's here, this year, and we have a little bit different mindset right now. And if you want to win a cup, you need to play with everyone. So you don't need to choose your opponents. So now we have another tough one coming, and hopefully we can go through.
When you look at Nashville, the games have always been very, very close. It looks like they play a pretty aggressive game in the neutral zone. What do you see when you prepare for a team like Nashville? Is it the goalie? Is it how aggressive they are? Is it the atmosphere there in Nashville and here?
Yeah, atmosphere is great everywhere, and they have a really fast, skilled team, and they compete hard, they check hard, and they obviously have a great goalie. So it will be a really hard test for us, and I think we're ready for it.
Does it help that you beat a goaltender that's 6'6" and Devin Dubnyk, and you're going to go up against another guy that's 6'5" and 6'6" in Pekka Rinne, or are they different goaltenders?
I think they're all different. Everyone have some specific parts, and that's why we do pre-scout, and I'm pretty sure they pre-scout Jake too, and all of us. So it's gonna be a really, really tough series, and our goal to make everyone happy.
Vladdy, one last question for you here, and that is about the overall game. A lot of times people look at goal scorers like yourself and expect goals all the time. Were you happy with your series? You seem to really engage yourself on the defensive side of it, on the forecheck, like the complete game. Was that maybe one of your more complete series?
I mean, I still try to score, but but when you play regular season, you can do I don't tell you can be off, but you can cheat a little bit somewhere, and then when playoff starts, there is no time and space for cheat. It's one year cheat can cost a goal for a team, and then can cost a series. So it's not in my mind right now, and I just try to help a team as much as I can, and do whatever coach needs me to do. And obviously, I will need to and supposed to play better offensively. But it's good we win this series. So it's me and every one of us do everything right.
Well, you do a lot of things right, and in fact, congratulations. I forgot about the Lady Bing. Congratulations. I mean, a guy that gets all the attention from all the best players in the league. Defensively, you always get the matchup, and yet limited time in the penalty box. That says a lot about you as a competitor, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Huh? You proud of that?
Actually, not in my head right now. You know, I'm not thinking about it. It's only playoffs.
Okay. Well, a lot of great players have won Lady Bing, and you could be one of them.
Paul and Brett Hall.
That's right. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
It's on the wall. Good stuff, buddy. Thanks for taking the time, and good luck against Nashville.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, JK and Curbs, let's go back to you.
All right, Darren, thank you very much. Well, Chris, you look at the season series, it tells me one thing. It was very tight. The Blues were 2-3, and home ice meant a lot in that in the regular season series.
Yeah, it really did. The St. Louis Blues, the 2 games that they won were here in St. Louis on home ice. They went 2-1 at home. They went 0-2 in Nashville. And, John, one of the big things is, and you talk about why did the Blues push so hard? You know, maybe even in that final game of the regular season, doing what they did, keeping the players on a roll. Home ice matters because all of a sudden Chicago, Minnesota are gone, and by virtue of earning the 3rd place, which was a huge game against the Nashville Predators, by the way, on April 2nd, the Blues wound up clinching home ice in this round. And who knows, come Game 7, if there is one, that could make a big difference.
Yeah, that game was played here on April 2nd. The Blues won 4-1. It was also the only game that Mike Yeo coached against Nashville this year.
It was, and now in that game, the Predators started UC Saros, not Pecorine, but it was, as you mentioned, the first game between the Blues and the Predators in the new system, in the new way of playing things, the new era of confidence of the St. Louis Blues, and now we get to see how that plays out in the playoffs. Let's head down back to the dressing room. Let's catch up with Kelly Chase. He's got Jaden Schwartz standing by.
All right, thanks, Curbs, and I'm here with Jaden Schwartz, and quite an interesting series. Not a lot of margin for error in the last series, and it seems like with this Nashville Predator team, it's only going to get tighter.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of expect that. They're a hard-working team over there. They they limited Chicago to only 3 or 4 goals, and that's a team that scores a lot of goals. So got to get some traffic on Rene, get to the net as much as we can. But we know that they're a team that plays tight defensively. Their forwards track back hard, and we got to make sure we're doing our job and be ready for that.
One of the matchups that's being talked about a little bit already is the fact that you guys will probably have Johansson, Forsberg, and Arvidsson. And you handled that top grouping with Minnesota fairly well. What differs in this series with this group?
I mean, not a whole lot. I think Johansson and Koivu, both big centers, good on draws. The other 2 guys are hardworking guys too. I don't know how long they've been playing with each other this year, but they seem to have found some good chemistry near the end of the year, and they're feeling good going into the playoffs, and they had a good first round. So not a whole lot changed. We've got to be aware of their skill. They can make a lot of plays off the rush as well, and they got some guys who like to get on the cycle as well. So it'll be a good contest for us.
They have very active D, and that's one of the things that we expect in this series. Just watching from the perimeter, that how do you kind of contain that group from being active up ice?
Yeah, they're mobile. Mini had a little bit of that too. So just whenever you're on the forecheck, you got to be aware of them guys jumping by you and making odd man rushes. So that's something that we focus on and we work on, and they got some guys who can make plays off the rush, and even when they get it on the point, their guys like to fake shots and jump around you and find sticks. So something that we'll be ready for. But playing teams like Chicago last year and San Jose, guys who we did a pretty good job against.
You personally, did the experience from last season, has it helped you kind of evolve as a player? And I mean, you've been a big part of the first series already.
Yeah, for sure. I think anytime you go through something like that, you learn from it and try to take away from what you can. And even playing against other players and watching other players, you can learn as well. So I think going to the 3rd round was a big boost for everybody. Guys like Parayko and guys like Steiner get some experience that we haven't had before. But I think even going through this year has helped a lot for me. And this is the best time of the year, so just trying to make the best of it and try to put ourselves in a good position again.
All right, well, we appreciate your time. That's Jaden Schwartz. Back up to you, Curbs.
All right, Chaser, thank you very much. Well, John, Jaden Schwartz, you just heard his thoughts on not only round 1, but heading into round 2. And for a guy that went through a bit of a scoring slump this season, the one thing that never seemed to stop with him, the work ethic and the effort, and he sure found a way to get on stride.
Yeah, Chris, amazingly, he found a way to get his game back. And really, it shouldn't be amazing because to me, he has the tenacity and the work ethic of a fourth liner, but the skill of a first liner. That's a really good combination. He had 5 points in the opening round series against Minnesota, 3 points in the regular season series against Nashville. And to me, he's such a key player because everybody knows the opposition is going to try and stop 91. Well, guess what that does? That leaves open the other winger on the other side. That would be Jaden Schwartz.
Well, Jaden Schwartz, a big key in round number 1. We'll see how that plays out in round number 2 against the Nashville Predators. One final time, let's go back to both Kelly Chase and Darren Pang, get their thoughts and keys to this series, round 2 against the Nashville Predators.
Well, thanks a lot, Curbs. And Panger, we got an exciting series ahead of us here. And when we start looking at key matchups, obviously it's hard to go without mentioning the goaltending. The goaltending in this series is going to be key, and probably the top 2 guys that have played thus far in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think different style of goaltender, too, than Devan Dubnyk. Devan is a very structured, very calm, doesn't do whole lot of movement, kind of takes away a lot of space. And the thing about Pekka Rinne that we've watched him play so many times, and especially in games in Nashville, is how energetic he is in the net. He does move around a lot. And so technically speaking, I think the Blues will find there'll be a little bit more net. His crouch is a little bit lower. He gets really active on any kind of loose pucks around that crease. So that's one area that I think if you can get him going side to side, then you could have some success. Maybe not on the first one, but maybe on the second one. Very, very quick down low, catches everything. That's what I like about him, actually, because he's a catcher of the puck more than Devan Dubnyk. We saw Devan Dubnyk on the glove side kind of use his shoulder a little bit more. Peck is going to catch things over here. He's going to catch them here. So any loose little shot that you think you're going to get a rebound and it's above the waist, he's going to catch it. So that's going to be an area of I think, discipline for the shooters. The other part is around the net. He stops everything. If you have that loose little dump in and plays it, so I mean, you almost have to work harder to get a good dump in, than you do to get a good quality shot on goal. So those are some of the things that they'd be looking at as a shooter or as a guy that goes to the net. Well, what do you think the guys will be thinking about going up against Pekka?
Well, I think more than anything, they're looking for the loose change.
Yep.
So you got to get in the paint and make it difficult for him. You talked about him getting down low and looking around bodies. There has to be extra bodies in front of him,
yep.
And you have to make sure you get to the inside. Perimeter hockey against Pekka Rinne doesn't work. Doesn't work against Jake Allen, and it certainly doesn't work against Pekka Rinne. So you got to get through into the paint. You got to make sure that you're, looking for any loose change that might be there, and second and third opportunities are going to win you this series. There's not going to be a lot given up on the rush. They cut the ice in half very well coming out of their own end. When St. Louis is coming out of their end, they'll be in half, and then they'll start angling you, and there'll be backside pressure. So you're going to have 4 guys up on the rush, and so lots of times it's going to be that fourth guy that's going to get that opportunity if there is loose pucks.
You being a former right winger, what's it like when you get a pass from the D and that left defenseman just steps right up on you? Like Nashville's D are very aggressive, and if their timing's right, they're as good as any team in the NHL on that.
Right, and a lot of teams that want to play up high with their centerman, it's tough on, that, hey, I want to take a step back towards the D when I get it, draw him in a little farther, bank it off the wall, and hopefully my centerman's on the rush. I think against Nashville, the only way to play them is to have the centerman loop low, and he's an option in a seam off the dots or the top of the circles, or the defenseman that gives you the puck. He's got to be on the hunt immediately. And expect, once you throw that puck to the half wall, you might be getting it back on a one-timer pass back, because that's the way that, Montreal will be caught flat-footed pinching in. They have no problem stepping up and holding zones. And they do a very good job of it. Yossi, Ellis, and I mean, of course, PK did it long before PK was before he was in Nashville. So I think for the St. Louis Blues, that very cautious and knowing that that's coming, and they'll do that early in hockey games.
One more note: I thought that Ryan Johansson and Forsberg and Arvidsson, especially on home ice when they got the matchup against any Jonathan Toews, I thought they did a great job of hemming Toews in his defensive zone. That Johansson line is a handful right now, maybe playing their best hockey.
Arvidsson's really the unsung hero of the whole thing. He's in the second half with the way he started to score, his work ethic, his discipline, and his discipline to hunt down pucks. I mean, I don't think I've seen a guy get hit as hard as he got hit and get right back up and play in the game. His helmet shot off his head when Duncan Keith hit him the other night, like somebody was hard rimming the puck around the wall, and he came right back into play. And I think it breaks the spirit of the Chicago Blackhawks when you look at that. You look at a guy that just got drilled, and it should be a momentum swing, and he jumps right back in it, and his players are all excited for the guy. So when you talk about that line, he might be the agitator that's in the line that just like it makes a washing machine go. It's turning and tumbling, and it's always in your face, and it's making it work. That might be the difference in the that line and why they've been so successful.
I haven't washed clothes in a long time. How does it work again?
I can see that.
Well, this should be a phenomenal series. We're looking forward to every aspect of it. It's fresh. It's Nashville. It's St. Louis. It's in Nashville. It's in St. Louis. This is going to be a fun ride, my
there's
friend.
this place called Music Row.
Okay,
we'll check it out.
We'll do our next hit from there. How about that?
We'll check it out.
We'll see if we see.
Back upstairs to you guys.
All right, guys, awesome breakdown. And John Kelly, round 2 for the St. Louis Blues. Back-to-back seasons. They're moving on to at least the second round. And the St. Louis Blues face off against the Nashville Predators. 7 o'clock face-off time on both Wednesday and Friday. I know you'll still be doing post-game shows throughout the playoffs on Fox Sports Midwest. Are you ready to go?
Ready to go. I know it's going to be a great series. I think it's going to go really deep, 6 or 7. Scott Trade will be jumping on Wednesday night. I look forward to going down to Nashville. That place is always a lot of fun. This should be a series for the ages.
First time the Blues and the Predators have ever met in the postseason. This one ought to be a whole heck of a lot of fun. Tickets to the general public go on sale today at 3 p.m. Make sure you get them. And then, of course, all of your information for tickets, playoff rallies, and all the fun can be found at stlouisblues.com/playoffs. Round 2 starts Wednesday. We'll see you at the rink.